Harmony Moon. Make sure you tip her well.
One day I'm going to fix this microphone so there's not tape on it, but evidently I did not do that today. Cool. So I don't like notes, but I took notes because I have a tendency to ramble and I understand I only have 10 minutes. So let's try and not do that. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and gush about how much I love my awesome girlfriend who's hiding over there pretending like she's not going to cry later. Because she will, because she's... Oh, go ahead. There you go. She has no idea what I'm going to say, so she's very nervous. But before I get that, we're going to go on a little journey, and that's why I have notes. First things first, I'm going to use some language, like the word tranny, because that's what I am. So if that bothers you, oops. But I'm mostly going to start off by we're going to go on a little journey. I'm going to tell a few stories, but the main thing I'm going to talk about, at least for the first part of this, is all my way journeying up to dating that lovely woman over there, and how I've spent pretty much my whole adult life of about 10 years dating while trans. And I'll tell you what, that's not fun. Because I came out in 2009, so it's rolling up on 10 years now, and I've spent that whole time on a lot of different adventures. Over that time, I've learned a lot of things about myself. One thing, first and foremost, is I have been every single sexuality you can possibly have at this point. Because once upon a time ago, I was a straight man. I mean, for all intents and purposes. But a straight man, then a bi guy, then a gay guy, then an ace guy, then an ace woman, then a bi woman, then a lesbian. Then I just went super aromantic for a while there. Now I'm just an open opportunity queer because I'm just like, I'm fucking done. I'm done coming up with new labels. But along that journey, I was like, let's just give anything a go here. Let's, dudes, ladies, anybody else, let's just entertain me. Have a good personality. That's good enough for me. And across that way, I've learned some interesting things, like I really like to joke about my penis. I love to joke about my penis. I have far more comfortability with it than any probably should. I don't like penises, and I thought I did, but for a number of reasons of, one, dudes just aren't willing to put in the work, because as soon as I'm like, oh, I'm going to experiment with some penises, everyone's like, oh, well, have you hit it in your butt? And I was like, no, guys aren't willing to put in the work to loosen the back door. So they don't get to put a penis in my butt. But in other senses than just that, I figured out I don't really like to date other trans women. And this has actually brought up a really fun conversation I've had with a number of lesbians and even dudes who are just like, I don't like trans women. And a lot of instinctual thing is going, oh, well, I'm going to lash out because that's transphobic. And inherently, it's not transphobic, because saying that you're not into penis, that's just a matter of preference. Saying, look, I'm not into you because you're not a real woman because you have a penis, well, that's a different matter. That's transphobic. But I've been on some dates with some trans women. They're fine. Like, they've been as good and bad as every other awful and good date I've had. But I'm going to share a few stories here. I went on a date with a dude one time, and for the sake of the story, I'm not going to mention any names. We'll call him Turtle. There's reasonings for all of the reasons that these people have these names, but let's not go into that. So I went on a date with him. It was pretty okay. He was a mediocre dude with mediocre taste, but he seemed nice enough. So I'm like, we'll give you at least one date shot, see how you go from there. And about halfway through the date, as I've already established with all of you, I talk about my penis a lot. And I did. And he went, bleh. And he was very, he's like, excuse me? I'm like, yes, I have a dick. I have a dangle. I'm pushing rope. I'm swinging a bat. And he went, oh, I was not aware of that. And I'm like, well, it said 3 times on my dating site that I had that. He's like, well, I don't read. And I'm like, well, then, okay. And then we learned that he was very polite afterwards, but he's like, yeah, you're not what I'm looking for. And I'm like, that's totally fair. That was probably a very startling surprise over your Szechuan duck. Another woman I went on a date with on my long journey, just to remind you this is all building up to things. We're gonna call her Dixie because we played Donkey Kong Country 2, which is my favorite Donkey Kong Country. It's got Dixie Kong in it. She's boss. Anyway, we got really drunk in Tremont and went back to her place and played that. She wasn't very good, but that's okay. It was her idea, so I don't feel bad, like totally roasting her. And then we started to like fool around on her couch, and we had a great time. And with just fingering, she like squirted and exploded all over me. And I was like, well, that's cool. I didn't even have to work, so clearly you're really into me. And we went on one more date, and then she was like, yeah, my parents, I'm not really cool with coming out to my parents, because men are just easier. And especially explaining a trans woman, I don't want to deal with that. And I was like, well, that's fucking rude, but that's your life, so go ahead. I know the last stop there, didn't it? Sorry. Not all of them are fun. There'll be more fun stories later. Another fun one on my journey of basically, we'll get there. This person is going to be called Catastrophe. I dated Catastrophe for 2 years. Before this individual, I didn't do long-term relationships. I dated people for maybe a month and a half ago. I'm bored with you. I'm apparently difficult to date because I get bored with people. People don't keep my attention or for various reasons, and I'm like, no. So I've dated this person for 2 years and tried to break up with them several times, and then they went, you can't leave me, I'm gonna kill myself. And I was like, oh, great. So again, don't worry, it's gonna get funny again later, I promise. Anyway, I ended up leaving this person. It was a hot mess. I wasn't perfect in that relationship, but to be fair, I was kind of pushed there in a lot of ways. So at the end of this relationship, I'm like, I'm done dating. Love's stupid. Dating's stupid. I just want to find someone and make out with them and play Mario Kart. That's all I want. I had very low standards. So around this time, I'm like, I'm gonna get Tinder, because OkCupid is a cesspool of like 20 people who just stare at each other and don't message each other ever, because you've seen each other for like the last 8 months, and you're just like, no, I didn't message you then, I'm still not gonna message you now. Or even worse, when you do message them and they're still on there, and it's like, oh, okay. So I get on Tinder, and Tinder's fine. I go on no dates on Tinder, except for one, where I meet a fine, lovely, voluptuous young lady over there, and I'm like, hey, let's just come over to my house, and we'll hang out, and we'll play Mario Kart and make out, and we're messaging for 2 weeks, and it's going really well, and I go, God damn it, because I started to really like her, and it totally fucked my plans up. So then she comes over to my house, and then we start bonding and making out, and we ordered food from Yuzu, and they forgot my food, which is fine. Fuck Yuzu for lots of reasons, because they're currently in hot water, so I have no qualms saying that right now. And yeah, well, like towards the end, we started bonding over just how much we hated one person who really sucks. And like you can bond over things you like, but sometimes a really awful person, you really bond with someone over how much you hate the same person. And then kind of went from there, and it snowballed, and we're like, we're not gonna date. I'm too cool for this. We're not dating. I'm too cool for school. Not gonna do that. And then we hung out more and more. I'm like, fuck, we're gonna end up dating. God damn it. Fucking up all my fucking plans. And then we did. And our relationship's been really good. We've been together for about a year now. And in that time, we're great. We're golden. We had no real fights. We moved in together this month, which is basically 1,000,000 years in lesbian years. Even though we're very bad gays. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a lesbian, but, you know, in terms of lesbian years, like, we're very, very bad gays because we don't have any cats. It took us forever to move in together. But our relationship has been super solid, but there's been a lot of interesting developments over the course of our relationship with other people. Like, people tend to not always respect our relationship in certain ways. People tend to put one of us more than others in awkward situations. For example, everyone wants to ask BJ questions about our relationship. What's it like to date a trans woman? Which is rather than be like, oh, well, rather than ask a trans woman what it's like to be loved, it's easier to ask someone like the weird anomaly of loving a trans woman, because apparently that is just beyond their thing. Like, I would just never consider that, and you seem so happy. Like, that's, whoa. and it blows their mind. Or we'll have various trans people come up to BJ and be like, so you're dating a trans woman, and like, that's cool. Am I hot? Would you date me? And I'm like, that's putting someone in a very uncomfortable situation where they have to be like, I'm not in a relationship. I don't want to say that you're hot, but like, why'd you do this to me? And it's been very interesting from her perspective more than mine, especially when we're out in public, because again, I've been trans for 10 years. I'm going to Target and people stare at me and I'm like, I couldn't give a shit if you stare at me because I'm a lot to look at. Fine. You can think I'm trans. I don't hide it. I have a flat chest and a deep voice. La-di-da. As long as you don't think I'm ugly. So we'll be out in public and people will be staring at us and like teenage boys will be like behind their breaths. And since we're in like a geek bar, I feel confident using this metaphor of like, Superman is like the worst superhero ever. Follow me on this. So I hate Superman. He's super boring. The main criticism everyone always has of Superman is that like, oh, well, he can't fucking die. He's invincible. He has a million superpowers. Like, he's boring because no one's ever going to beat him. But the people who defend him is like, well, it's not about Superman dying. It's about like, he's got to protect people because they're not invincible because Lois Lane matters to him and they attack the people around him. And I'm like, yeah, that's a dumb story. And I'm not saying I'm Superman, because let's not get my head too big. It's big enough as it is. But I totally understand that. Where like when I'm in public and when people say all these weird, awkward things about our relationship, where it's like they say, "Oh, BJ, you're so lucky to have found your girlfriend. She's so good," rather than "You two are so lucky to have found each other." It's really like puts down either her or our relationship in a way that's just like subtly super disrespectful. And I don't appreciate it at all, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm usually not there because they always talk to her when either I'm working or I'm strictly just not there. And I'm now freaking in the place of Superman where people are doing things that are like really rude and are entirely directed at her, but by proxy is including me because, you know, we're a unit. But, so we're an absolute unit. But it's like this weird situation where I'm like, I can't protect you from the stuff that I'm not there because it's all stuff that stems around me being trans. And it's really fucking frustrating and really unfair, and I hate it. And that's a real bummer to end on, so I'm just gonna say lots of nice things about her now. Fuck my notes. So this is the part where I make her cry because amongst the many things I've done, I've bought her presents that have made her cry. I did a lovely Schitt's Creek style pantsless dance to The Best by Tina Turner for Valentine's Day and made her cry. I bought her a signed picture of Lou Bega for Christmas that made her cry. Like, I've done so many things that make this woman cry. And whenever people say these rude things and make her feel like, oh, I'm not good enough because they think I'm lucky to have you, or, you know, BJ, Harmony's out of your league, you're so lucky to have scored her, or something like that. No, she is beautiful and smart and incredible and getting really embarrassed right now because she has done, like, in terms of like stock, like, I'm okay. I do pretty all right for myself. I'm a bartender. I make people laugh. I either make them forget their troubles or give them fun times by giving them alcohol. Cool, that's what I do for a living. Like, she works with like underprivileged kids that have a hard go of it. You write awesome frickin' feminist movies. You dissect all these cool things. Your clout's awesome. You have all these celebrities. You're frickin' friends with Matilda. You do all these cool things. Yeah, she's friends with Mara Wilson because she's the fucking coolest person ever. Like, I love everything about this woman, and I hate it so much that I cannot stop people from being awful because I am in the healthiest, most non-awful relationship that I did not at all fucking plan on being in, and you fucked up my life plans, and now I'm gonna die with you, and I'm okay with it. But I'm a little mad, but I'm okay with it. And that's going from being me hating all these things, hating dating, hating all these things and having a horrible fucking time, to being like, I'm never gonna date, to being madly in love and talking about like, oh, well, clearly this dumb fucking song's gonna play at our wedding. Do you wanna do a dance? Do you wanna have our dance at our wedding be The Best by Tina Turner and that screaming cowboy from The Big Enough Thing? Because they have a duet together? Yeah, let's have that be for our dance at our wedding. Perfect. And it's incredible, and I think I finally moved past the I'm too cool to be vulnerable in love stage, where I can firmly say like, yeah, cool, I'm in love, I love it, it's fantastic. And that's what I got.